Hey everybody, it's Matty here with AltCoin Buzz. Hope you're well. We've got a lot of exciting news to cover, a lot of developments that have been breaking and news stories coming out of Consensus 2018, currently happening in New York City. So let's take a look starting on altcoinbuzz.io with an article here by Garrett. ZCash secures its first licensed listing on the Gemini exchange. So New York's state's financial regulators have granted Gemini Trust Company permission to offer ZCash trading on their platform. Gemini, the Bitcoin exchange founded by the Winklevoss twins, has recently received approval to offer new digital assets. On Monday, New York State's Department of Financial Services granted Gemini Trust Company permission to offer ZCash trading on their platform. The department also approved trading of Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash on the platform, especially ZCash, guys. You can see because it's a smaller market cap coin, still number 22 or 23, however, but it shot up dramatically after news of this announcement went public. This is a major victory for ZCash. It is inspiring to see that a cryptocurrency focused on privacy has received approval from a regulatory body. Great point. Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash have already been listed on licensed exchanges, but the more listings, the better. Absolutely. Gemini expects to start accepting ZCash deposits on Saturday, May 19th, and trading to begin on Tuesday, May 22nd. So that's a pretty strong announcement right out of the gate, and an interesting one for those particular coins. If you're invested, if you're excited about that, let us know in the comments below. In other good news, HSBC and ING prove blockchain works for trade finance. Article by Licia. So one of the largest world banks, the UK-based HSBC, together with Dutch ING, made a breakthrough financial transaction using blockchain, reports Reuters. The announcement comes after the parties successfully completed a transaction regarding a shipment of soybeans from Argentina to Malaysia between an American food corporation, Cargill, and the two banks, which used the Corda platform to issue a letter of credit. The platform is developed by R3, a New York-based blockchain group that unites more than 100 banks, regulators, and trade associations. What could have been a cumbersome paper trail taking up to 5 or 10 days resulted in a 24-hour document exchange. And according to Vivek Ramachandran, HSBC's head of growth and innovation, this is the first transaction to use a single shared digital application rather than multiple systems. And he added that trade finance transactions have been made simpler, faster, more transparent, and more secure. So this is positive news, and it's a good demo, a good showcase for what the technology can do. The applications, as pointed out by Licia here, are quite extensive as far as the potential goes in this kind of field and these industries. The breakthrough spells promising news for the trade finance industry, the estimated worth of which is $9 trillion annually. And not only when it comes to the transaction speed. Thus, the Financial Times points out that blockchain has the potential to be used for encrypted and unhackable record keeping across a range of industries, from property registration to medical records and insurance claims. So currently there are 12 banks which support the blockchain app used in the Cargill transaction, meaning that soon this technology may become more widespread. So nice piece of encouraging news there. It's amazing to see how you have, this contrast between banks. And HSBC is, I said the same thing about Deutsche Bank. HSBC is no small potato. So despite the fact that you may have these central banks, these reserve banks in India, in other places that look at it more negatively, HSBC is not representing a country necessarily. It's not a government body. It's in it for profit. It wants to see its bottom line grow. And if it's involved in a $9 trillion industry and can behoove itself of transactions that are going to be more cost effective and faster, then why wouldn't you do that? That's a competitive advantage in the world of business. Be sure to leave an article comment for Licia. Give us your thoughts. Here are the original pieces of reporting that we're going to link to in the description. In other news, New York City looking to be a leader in the blockchain industry. So New York City, the Economic Development Corporation, opens Consensus 2018 with major blockchain announcements. Today, James Pratchett, president and CEO of the New York Economic Development Corporation, announced plans to make New York City a blockchain hub. So he says, we're a global leader in finance, real estate, media, and tech. All industries seeing incredible innovation from this new technology. The city is putting a big focus into blockchain to find out how we can grow the industry and make sure it's creating great opportunities for New Yorkers, said James Pratchett in his speech. So the NYC EDC will begin by launching two initiatives, the first being the NYC Blockchain Resource Center. And the NYC EDC intends for this center to be used as a hub for the entire blockchain industry, as well as a place to discover how blockchain can be best implemented to assist New York. The second major initiative is a public blockchain competition. So the NYC EDC plans to oversee a competition where blockchain projects will compete to see what projects can best suit the services and processes of the public sector. So kind of similar to what we saw with that Pitbull competition with the blockchain in the music industry, where you're kind of allowing ideas to cross-pollinate, to grow organically, in effect, by crowdsourcing a competition like that and letting the cream rise to the top, so to speak. So there's no city in the world that's better positioned to lead the way in blockchain, said James Pratchett. Pratchett could not be more correct. These new initiatives by the NYC EDC have the potential to be huge game changers in the blockchain industry, since New York is a leader in so many other industries. Absolutely. It will be enthralling to follow the success of their new initiatives. This is a very encouraging piece of news. And let's see, because we did discuss a little while back about those tax havens, places like Bermuda, places like Malta, where maybe some of these exchanges can make a home for themselves by way of friendly and comforting regulatory standards, right? And some rules that are kind of bending to accommodate them. New York seems to be taking a different approach. It's saying, hey, we're the epicenter of the world in all of these different fields. Come over here to work with us and to work within that space to get the best bang for your buck, right? And to reach your fullest potential as somebody, as a company, as a developer, as a programmer in the blockchain space. That's going to be really interesting to see what happens 5 years, 10 years down the line with those initiatives. Let's see how they pan out. And for more on the reporting as it pertains to those initiatives in New York, we're going to link to this article in the description. So Consensus 2018, it's underway. We're in day 2 already. And for a day 1 recap of what happened yesterday, here's an article by Chris. So Consensus 2018 starts with a bang as Winklevoss twins announced ZCash, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash support on Gemini and NYC EDC to make New York a blockchain hub. So we've already covered a couple of these articles, of course, but this is a good summary piece to look at everything, to look at the impact that Consensus has had so far. So May 14th was the first day of Consensus 2018 in New York City. According to Barry Silbert, CEO and founder of CoinDesk's parent company Digital Currency Group, the final attendance count was about 8,500, and I believe they were expecting 4,000. That's the figure that we looked at the other day. So more than double the expected attendance. The price of one ticket is $2,000, which means that CoinDesk raised at least $17 million in revenue. Consensus was one of the largest blockchain conferences in the world and tripled their attendance from last year's event. And last year it was 2,700. The event is a huge platform to announce news, and there was no shortage of that. Below is the most important news announced. So, of course, we looked at already the stories of ZCash, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, which are coming to the Winklevoss's Gemini exchange. And we looked at the announcement by James Pratchett and his plans to develop New York City as a blockchain hub. Those are not small news stories. They bear repeating, I think. In other noteworthy news, Aon is launching a token bridge to connect blockchains. 2 former JP Morgan employees, Amber Balde and Patrick Myland Nielsen, to launch a decentralized application store, Clover. The first Bitcoin smart contract sidechain, RSK, is now secured by 10% of all miners. GoTenna to launch a BTC wallet without the internet. Icon and Line Plus join, co-found Uchain, a blockchain ecosystem. Blockchain praise from FedEx CEO Fred Smith, who says firms should not ignore Bitcoin. That's a pretty good roundup, I'd say, and a good list of optimistic news from day one. Day two is underway right now. We're going to see what happens. And on the lighter side of things, and for a little bit of levity, by the way, make sure you are following Blockchain J on the Twitter. But I saw this in a few different places yesterday on Twitter. Very funny. I think you can hear it. So a mock protest, the bankers protesting Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in New York in the shadow of the Consensus Conference. And as you saw some of those signs, my favorite was 19% to send money to Mexico is fair. Leave it alone, right? So a little bit of parody there, a little bit of satire, but I think that's the best way. Sometimes comedy is the best way to make a point, whether it's politically or otherwise. And I think this captures it perfectly because as we looked at, I mean, New York is that central area, that epicenter for banking, for finance. And, this is obviously not real. It's not literally the case that bankers are out in the streets with their messages. But if they were to complain, this is all they can really say, right? Is that they're comfortable with their established paradigm. They don't want it to be disrupted, as unfair as it may be. So check that out. Check out Blockchain J on Twitter. And look, make sure in general you're looking for that kind of content, the funnier side of crypto and Bitcoin. And the best way for you to stay in touch with some of that is to follow us, AltCoin Buzz, on Twitter. And that's a good place where we can find updates and links to news articles and all kinds of interesting different opinion pieces and whatnot, including the news of the day. Of course, Telegram, Facebook, Instagram, make sure you're following us on those as well. And if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel where we put out new content every day. Stay tuned. We're going to have much more very soon on the Consensus Conference. Leave us your thoughts and your comments below. Do you think it's going to be a boon for the entire market? Do you think it's overblown? Are you excited about any particular stories that have come out of it so far? Share with us. We love reading your comments. Happy investing, guys, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.